What is up again? I'd just like to say thank you for all the support on that last video that I made. It does mean a lot to me, and I'd just like to answer a few of the questions that I seem to get the most. The first one is just like, where do I find the pictures? And that would be Pinterest. If you find one picture of a liminal space, you'll find like 3,000 more if you open the app again. Another question I got a lot on my previous video was, why doesn't YouTube like the liminal space content? And I can actually read that. Here's just a few of the rules. But one of them says image slideshows are not allowed. It says that it's repetitive content or mindless content with low educational value. So they're just kind of like roasting me there, I guess. And then it also says generated content, which is kind of funny because I have 2 videos that are actually just generated. And then I also have here songs that modified to change picture speed, which is actually what I used to do on YouTube. But with all that said, there is kind of something I wanted to talk about for today's video, and that is something weird that I've kind of discovered in the show Spongebob. Even as a kid, I noticed like a lot of vacuum cleaners being used. And going back now, I think it was like an intentional like inside joke or something, because the same writers will use the same vacuum cleaners for multiple episodes. And for the weirdest reasons too. When researching for this video, I found 18 different episodes that are usually past season 6 that have a vacuum cleaner in it. And in season 1, there was only 20 episodes, and I don't think there was a single vacuum cleaner. So I'll be showing the writers in this video, but please do not attack them, because I know that these writers have gotten hate in the past, and they really do not deserve it, because they are good at some things and they are bad at some things. But they don't deserve the hate, especially for something they created so long ago. So starting off with an absolute banger of an episode, we're going to do House Fancy from Season 6. And I do say that as a joke because this episode, honestly, is not very good at all. Now pay attention to my main man here, Danny, because he's going to become very important later on. To start it off, I think I know what most people don't like this episode for. As far as I know, this is the first major appearance of a vacuum in this show, so if you guys find anything before Season 6, Episode 1, that's like major, like vacuum cleaner usage, then let me know. But so yeah, basically Squidward's vacuum just goes apeshit and destroys the whole house, but yet he still wins the House Fancy reward or whatever. It's kind of weird. Normally Squidward would lose in these type of episodes, but I guess it's pretty cool that he wins.
Oh no!
Rip to Squidward's house, but the same exact thing will happen in this next episode, Squid's Visit. This episode is actually really well known for being like just super creepy, and it's written by Casey, Zeus, and Derek, who will actually come up a lot on these vacuum cleaner episodes. The basic premise of the episode is just that SpongeBob steals Squidward's vacuum cleaner so that he'll have to come over and visit.
Well, I didn't steal it, silly. I borrowed it.
Are you done cleaning up that dingy hole you call home?
You won't even recognize the place, Squidward.
Yeah, probably not.
So notice how Squidward puts a casserole in the oven, because this is going to come back to really bite him in the ass later. So he goes over to SpongeBob's house and he realizes that everything is an exact copy of his house. So this just means that SpongeBob has broken into his house so many fucking times that he knows the details of even his medicine cabinet.
How does he know the exact contents of my medicine cabinet? My rash cream! That little sneak!
And something I find interesting is that the writers don't even downplay that this is supposed to be creepy. They play creepy music throughout the whole thing.
My whole way. Dear Neptune. He even got the chip in the paint from when I moved in. Okay, Squiddy, don't get creeped out. Just get the vacuum and go home.
Squidward does eventually find his vacuum cleaner, but not before having like a mini mental breakdown. And this is something else that I kind of want to bring up, because once there's a vacuum cleaner in an episode, it usually has to do with a character just losing their fucking mind.
I gotta find that vacuum and get out of here! Ah! He copied all 492 of my self-portraits! And they're better than mine. He even got the rug right. Get a hold of yourself, Squiddy old bean. This doesn't mean anything.
After seeing this episode multiple times, I do not know if I like it or dislike it, because I respect the use of the horror, but I don't think they should have derived it from their main character, because it just makes him seem like more creepy than he should be. So after Squidward makes out with his vacuum cleaner for some reason, we get one of the worst scenes that this episode is known for.
Yes, I'd love another spot of tea, Mr. Vacuum Cleaner. Care for some casserole?
I thought it was pretty easy to tell that his house was going to get burned up in the end, but I should also mention that the sister episode to this also has a vacuum cleaner in it, but it's not like a huge role, but I'll just show it anyway. So with that, it brings us to season 7, where there are 2 brief appearances of the vacuum cleaner by the same writers before a really creepy episode happens. These episodes are I Heart Dancing and Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, and they're both written by Casey and Zeus again. Also, our boy Danny returns from House Fancy to work on this episode as well, so... Now, I know what you're thinking. These are like super just small scenes with the vacuum cleaners in it, but that's exactly my point. These could have easily just been left out of the episode, but they decided to put them in for some reason. It's almost like they were trying to get the vacuum cleaner count up to as much as possible. So now I introduce you to my favorite episode by this trio. Casey, Zeus, and Danny created this episode called Squidward and Clarinet Land, and it's something else.
SpongeBob! SpongeBob! SpongeBob, wait! What have you done with my... SpongeBob, I do not play games!
Squidward then like travels through this like hornet forest, they call it. And then he gets eaten by a giant eagle and all this other fucked shit happens. And then finally we get another vacuum cleaner. But it's not just any vacuum cleaner, it's referred to as the Pressure.
It must be the Pressure. I gotta get out of here!
Where are you going, you imbecile?
I didn't show too much of this episode just because I think if you haven't seen it before, you probably should go watch it, because it really does just mess with your head the whole episode. And I kind of respect that. It's really just a mind trip. And now, since this video is getting really long, I'd just like to show you some of the episodes where a vacuum cleaner is included. These are all written by either Casey, Zeus, or Danny, so just keep that in mind because they really do love their vacuum cleaners.
Stuff, including you and me, are brought here when the mermaids sing their beautiful song. The mermaid song triggers this here contraption to suck the sky like a vacuum, dumping all the contents here on this island. I've got to know, money sucker! What does it, lizard breath? It's you or me now. Just you and me.
All finished.
Wow, this looks great.
You missed a spot.
Time for spring cleaning.
There it is yet again. Sandy acts like a maniac sucking up all the jellyfish, and then the vacuum just comes out of nowhere. So if you made it this far, just let me know in the comments whether or not you think this was intentional or not. I really do think it was, because it was the same exact writers doing it. It wasn't any other writers adding these vacuums into the show. Now I'm just going to show a statistic on screen, and hopefully you guys know what to do about it. I'd also love to give a shout out to the guy in my last video who said that he's unsubbing because I'm not a girl.